the pain's gone away. The indigestion, heartburn's gone away. The anxiety and depression's gone away. And my eyesight's getting better.
Well, folks, it's my very real pleasure today to welcome Shaun Scott. Shaun has an amazing story to tell. He is a fellow Aussie and a fellow companion on the carnivore journey. Shaun has been, I think, legally blind since about 2006. He has his own YouTube channel called Eyes on Carnivore, which we'll get him to talk about a little bit shortly. He's also been interviewed on the Dave Mack channel, Real Low Carb, I think it's called. And Dave does a great job. Shaun, welcome to our broadcast this morning, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, Larry, and thank you for having me on your channel. I'm looking forward to having a chat with you today. So my background, as you suggested, I'm in Australia. I was diagnosed legally blind in 2006 with a condition called retinitis pigmentosa. Retinitis pigmentosa, or RP, is a disease that's hereditary. It's passed down genetically, and no one in my family has it. So that's kind of a bit of an anomaly. And I have had this vision problem for, I think, 18 years or so now. And I've been coping really well. But in 2016, I found myself with a deal of pain, waking up in the morning with hip pain and walking my first guide dog at the time with hip pain in the mornings. And I was trying to figure out what that was, but ultimately ignored it. From 2016 to 2019, ignored it quite well. But the pain didn't go away, and I decided to start looking into doctors. What's the problem? What's going on? And I felt as though there was old age. Perhaps I was sleeping on it the wrong way. I'd replaced my mattress. Perhaps I was walking differently, but there was no rhyme or reason other than it just seemed to happen, and it just seemed to get worse. So in 2019, I started going to the doctors. Many doctors, specialists, including chiropractor, physiotherapy, osteopath, acupuncture, cortisone injections, lots of imaging scans, and of course the drugs that ultimately did not do anything. I think I got a little bit of relief from the cortisone injections, but the pain in my back, the pain in my shoulders and my hips, was just getting worse. Not at any point in the time that I was dealing with all these doctors and specialists did anybody ask me about my lifestyle, let alone my diet. So I kept on having problems. The problems kept on getting worse. And in 2023, I was watching some Facebook, and I saw an interview with Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson. And Jordan Peterson was talking about the carnivore diet. And I ignored that, totally thinking that's crazy. But I think it was the catalyst to look into diet a little bit further. And there was a voice at the back of my head. And the voice was saying, arthritis is caused by inflammation. Inflammation is caused by sugar. It was something that was in the back of my head, that's something I knew. I don't know where I got this information from or why it popped in my head at that particular time. But I'd lost hope. I mean, there was no real reason to think that the doctors were going to help me. So why would this diet do anything? But I kept on researching a little bit, and I found there's some anti-inflammatory type diets, which included the ketogenic diet and a few others. So I looked into the ketogenic diet. I thought, well, I'll give this a go. And on the 11th of June, 2023, I started the keto diet and fairly quickly transitioned to the carnivore diet. Now, this was just fantastic. The best thing I have ever done, Larry. It really is, because within 2-3 weeks, the sugar with addiction withdrawals sort of went away, and I started feeling a lot better. I felt a lot better about myself just doing something to try to help, even though it was a little bit radical. Um, but I started to feel as though things were improving. Not just the sugar addiction withdrawals going away, but my happiness, my anxiety and depression that I'd had pretty much all my life from a very young boy, from a very young age. I've definitely had anxiety, and yeah, of course, having this blindness problem definitely is not something that would help depression. Even though I had a fairly good life, I was fairly happy. Yeah, the depression and anxiety was getting me down. But it was interesting, Larry. I was looking at the TV from outside, and I thought, no, well, that TV's looking a lot more colourful than usual, and a little bit brighter, and it was standing out. And I'd been noticing that things were looking brighter. And when I say this, like the walls and the floors and the ceiling, everything was looking brighter. The 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 phone and my computer that I was using um, were also looking brighter. And I'm normally turning the screen up on the phone. So hey Siri, turn the brightness up, and I found myself turning the brightness down on the phone and on the computer. And it took a few days to sort of click in that, hey, this is a vision improvement that I did not expect. And I hadn't heard anybody else getting some vision improvements. Certainly, there's a lot of stories about people reducing their pain, and for me, the pain was starting to go away. But man,
Okay, this is as bright as it gets.
oh, sorry, it's the phone talking to me. And I found that the brightness on the phone and the computer was getting better. But I really couldn't put my finger on it, and I decided, well, I'll go and get an eye test, because things were looking a bit clearer. And it was still at the point where I was just talking to the phone, saying, go do this, do that, and randomly pressing on something on the screen to try to bring up a video about the keto diet. Getting started was what I was interested in firstly, initially. So I went and got an eye test, and I was totally surprised to find that I was able to read some letters on the eye chart in my right eye. So, and that was early August, I guess, and late July, early August 2023. And I really sort of thought, well, this is interesting. And I looked into it a bit more, and obviously kept on doing the diet. I basically cut out all the fruit and vegetables. So I was just mainly eating meat and drinking water, with a little bit of dairy at the time. And the result in with that first eye test was 6/30 -2 in my right eye, and hand movements in my left eye. And it was a contrast to in March 2020. I had an eye test, and there was no chart results. There was no hand movements. I couldn't read any of the letters on the chart. So, yeah, 3 years later, to be able to see something on the chart is still remarkable, but it's miraculous. This retinitis pigmentosa does not have any cure. There's certainly no way of reversing it or any treatment. So for it to get better is remarkable. However, they did find that I had cataracts. There was no cataracts in 2020. They found cataracts in 2023. So I went to an ophthalmic surgeon, and he basically said, yes, you got cataracts. They're very minor. A person with your condition, you won't get any benefit from having a cataract surgery. But I don't know. I decided to go ahead with the cataract surgery, thinking that, well, I've had some sort of change, and getting the surgery, even if there's only a minor cataract problem there, any benefit's going to be better than none at all. So I decided to go ahead, and on the 16th of August, I had the cataract operation, which was successful. And I think it was about 4 days after the cataract operation, I had another eye test, which was 6/21. So the one before that was 6/30-2. After the cataract operation was 6/21, which is an improvement. That's fantastic. The smaller number, the better. And I was going to 2 different optometrists and this ophthalmic surgeon, and had subsequently got more testing done. And I should mention that this whole time in the background, my inflammation, my pain was going away, and the pain was awful. I'll touch on that in a bit, but. So I kept on having some eye tests. The next one after the cataract operation, as I mentioned, 6/21. The next one after that was 6/18. The next one after that was 6/15. And the next one in October 2023 was 6/12-2. And I did another test in December 2023, also 6/12-2. So Larry, I mean, that was fantastic to be able to essentially reverse my retinitis pigmentosa. Is just remarkable, and I was able to do things that I haven't been able to do for many years, including looking at stuff on my phone. So the phone was just blurriness, and it became clearer and clearer and clearer, to the point that I was able to see or log into the YouTube. That was a good start. But see things on the phone which I'd never seen before. I got this phone in 2018, and so in 2023 I was seeing things on the phone I'd never seen before. Notifications, how they come up, and I guess Facebook and Facebook Messenger, I was able to see that a lot better. But YouTube, because I was actually doing a lot more research on YouTube, and able to do searches and press on what I was wanting to watch, reading what the title is, and also going into the video, having a look at the description, and reading a few comments. But it was towards the end of 2023 that I realized that the vision was improving a great deal, and people's faces were looking a lot more clear. The contours on people's faces, I could see facial expressions a lot better, and it was and it was quite interesting reading comments, and okay, to start off with, the comments were all a bit blurry, but I'm struggling, pushing through, trying to read the comments. And after a while I realized underneath the comments is a thumbs up, thumbs down button, and I was starting to practice hitting the thumbs up button. And it was sometimes I could press the thumbs up button. Most of the time though, I was just off, because wasn't able to use my hand-eye coordination well enough to pinpoint my thumb onto the thumbs up button. Edit that out. So looking on the phone, things were looking much better. And at the start of this year, I did the lion diet for World Carnivore Month. And I remember quite clearly, halfway through World Carnivore Month, that things were looking even better, even more better on the phone and on the TV, and on the computer, which I hadn't been doing much on the computer, which I'd normally sort of get the computer to read stuff out to me. But it was really good to have the ability to press on a like thumbs up button, and read the comments a lot easier, and press thumbs up, because I'm loving all these comments. I'm really enjoying watching other people talk about their stories. Come sit down. Sit. Come sit. So, guide dog. Okay, so this year I decided to space out the eye tests every 3 months. So, Carnivore month, January, I noticed my vision was getting better. So in February, I went and got an eye test, and that test was 6/12 -1. So that is a 1-letter improvement from last year, and 1-letter improvement from last year. And well, it's from August to February. There's quite a few months there, and you would not expect the cataract operation to enable an improvement over such a long period of time. So there was definitely the only one variable, which was the carnivore diet at that point, which is fantastic, and realizing that my vision was improving more was a catalyst to start thinking about doing my own YouTube videos to tell other people about this, because Larry, no one told me about this stuff. I had to find out through a podcast to Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson, and subsequently through YouTube videos. It's just remarkable. So yeah, I did another test in May of this year, and thinking that, well, okay, so vision's been improving this whole time. I wonder if there's going to be any vision improvements for this one. And indeed there was, and this was a 6/12. So I was able to read all the letters on that last line, and 6/12 is I think almost at the level that a person could get a driver's license. Don't worry, folks, I'm not going out there and getting a driver's license anytime soon. You are safe on the roads, and probably even safer on the footpaths without me driving around. Not to say that in the future I won't be driving, because, self-driving flying cars, I'll get myself one of those for sure. And so that's the vision side of things, Larry. And I will quickly touch on the other things that have improved. So I mentioned I started this for arthritis, essentially in my hip, my back, and the shoulders. That pain went away within 6 months and has not come back at all. I also had so that was tendonitis and bursitis, and I should suggest that I was not able to walk the dogs, or put the washing out, or wash the dishes without being in pain. So I could say walk for 50 meters, something like that, and the pain in my hip would go up quite dramatically, to the point where I would just have to stop walking. Okay, so if you can't walk, you're definitely not doing much exercise. But I was trying to do some exercise, and I was doing swimming. But I also had severe heartburn. I was taking heartburn type tablets most nights. I was a terrible snorer, and the snoring's completely gone. The heartburn's completely gone. The pain's completely gone. And the mental health, the anxiety and depression is pretty much gone. I still get a little anxious about certain things. I remember the first video that I did, talking in front of the camera, I felt a bit nervous, but I think that's to be expected. If a person does not have some sort of form of anxiety and depression especially in the world that we live in these days, then there's something going on. There's something else going on. You're way too happy for your own good. So that, I think that sort of wraps up my story there, there, Larry. And I'm sorry I rushed through it a little bit with that, but happy to answer any questions.
What an amazing story. And when you started Carnivore, you would have had no idea about all the benefits that would flow in the coming days.
Yeah, I had no clue. I mean, I was not finding any of the carnivore influences that I know only too well these days.
Yeah.
Didn't know any of the stories. I was just, to start off with, I was looking up the ketogenic diet, and little tipsits about the autophagy and mitophagy and very interesting things, which I thought at the time were helping with the improvements that I was getting. And moving forward, to be able to actually do some research and find there's other people out there that are doing this was fantastic.
Yeah. Hey, what was the reaction of your eye doctor and your GP when all of this was happening?
Right. So my GP and obviously the eye doctor, I was very open to them with them about this. The eye doctor was interested, but I did not get to talk to him at length about it. This is the ophthalmic surgeon. I did get a lot of very good feedback from various nursing staff that was at the ophthalmologist. But the optometrists that I've been going to do the eye tests have not shown a great deal of interest. Certainly they have not seen anything like this before. And I had one guy that did the test in February this year. He actually told me, he's like, I didn't believe you. So I'm sending him test results from the other optometrist, and apparently he didn't believe the other optometrist either. It wasn't until the fact that I did the test in front of him and got the 6/12-1 that he said, yeah, I didn't believe you, and now obviously I do.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was good feedback from some people, not so much from others. My GP was particularly interested. I told him I'm doing this keto diet. He told me, yes, I've got a doctor friend of mine who is on the keto diet. Subsequent visits to him, he told me he had tried the keto diet but got constipated and had to take Metamucil, which I quite happily told him, it's like, meat gets absorbed, mate. You don't need to put sawdust down your throat in order to make yourself poop. And then afterwards, he also, at a subsequent, he told me that he'd gone low carb, and I think because I'd been essentially teaching him this stuff about the LMHR, the phenotype of lean mass hyperresponders, because my cholesterol's through the roof, and he wanted to put me on a cholesterol tablet. So I schooled him about why I did not want to do that. And of course, I mean, I'm saying, look, I want this blood test. I want fasting insulin. I want C-peptide. I want CRP. I want the the tests that I can then go back and check myself. So yeah, I think he's learnt quite a bit from my testing and saying, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm looking for. I'm not worried about this. I'm more worried about this. And I'm looking forward to going to see him next, because on my way out last time I said, so you're okay with all this? I can send you some people and you would support the keto carnivore diet? And he said, yes, no problems. And I said, so you're not going to bust them about having high cholesterol? And he said, he wasn't able to really answer that question, but I think he's sort of sitting on the fence going, well, maybe there's something to this. And hopefully he's looked into the research that I've sent to him.
Yes. It's rather tragic, I think, that doctors seem to have so little training in nutrition, and yet as we're discovering that food is such an integral part of health. And yet it's something they're not trained in. And I'd love to see the day come when doctors get a bit more training in nutrition.
Most definitely, yeah. It's like being the owner of a Formula One racing car and then putting watered down fuel in there, or let's put some sugar down the fuel tank.
Yeah.
For God's sake, I mean, this is a high performance machine. Why would you put any chemical in there at all when the only thing you need to do is put the right fuel in there and drive the thing the right way?
It just makes so much
too
sense, doesn't
simple.
it?
Yes, in hindsight, and I've never been one to want to take tablets. I avoided taking too many painkillers. I took statins for a little while, but then I refused to take statins. I refused to take blood pressure medication. I refused to take antidepressants. And I'm really glad I did, because I've avoided many complications, and quite possibly just would have been medicated just enough to be able to ignore things and just keep on with my bad ways, which weren't that bad, really. I mean, I was eating fairly good food, not that much takeaway, whole food. It was just, I didn't know that carbohydrates turns into sugar, and one potato, 10 teaspoons of sugar, 2 slices of bread, 10 teaspoons of sugar, cup of rice, 10 teaspoons of sugar, and the body can only take 1 teaspoon of sugar at any one time. It creates its own sugar, so you don't need to put anything on the top of that. So a real eye opener, Larry, a real eye opener.
So Shaun, the crunch question for me is, pardon me, if you had not have started carnivore or the keto diet, and you simply just did everything your doctor and your eye doctor told you to do, would any change have happened?
Oh, no. In fact, I think I was heading towards some sort of an event. I was getting electrical shocks in my heart. I think I was at that point. I was getting these electric shocks. I was having anxiety attacks. I was, my mood was up and down. I was, having problems with the people around me. I didn't really want to be around people too much, and I think I was going to have some sort of event, whether that was a cardiac event, a stroke, a mental breakdown. I don't know, but it was. I was running out of hope, and thank God something came along, and this is the miracle I needed.
Yeah. That's certainly my experience. If I had only ever done what the doctor said, nothing would have changed. I'm not criticizing the doctor as such, but until the day when I said, I've got to do something, I've got to take responsibility for my health, nothing changes. And I think that's a powerful message to get across. You've got to take responsibility for your health.
Yes, and that popularized saying, no one's coming to save you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's so true with every part of life.
Yeah, I think some people are out there that they're waiting to be told what to do. And the idea of taking their own initiative just seems a little bit foreign, because we're constantly bombarded with messaging. Do this, do that, do this, do that. And that messaging, as we are very aware of, does not come from a place of honesty. It just comes from a place of generating more profits.
Yeah. So, Shaun, just tell us a little bit about your average day food-wise, what you would eat and what meals you have, etc.
Okay. Well, that's fairly easy, Larry. My two favorite foods have always been lamb and beef, and I basically alternate beef, lamb, beef, seafood. With seafood generally being on a Friday, I go on a Friday to the shops and do a bit of a shop there with Friday maybe getting the fresher seafood, and that would be normally oysters, sometimes prawns, sometimes the smoked salmon, wild caught fish, sometimes the seafood marinara. I feel like I should have some more seafood, the omega-3s, and specifically DHA is very, very good for the eyesight. Vitamin A, of course, very good for the eyesight. I don't have too much of anything else. Occasionally a different meat like pork. I think I've had chicken once in the past 12 months. And there is a shop that I went to late last year, and I bought camel, kangaroo, crocodile, buffalo, goat, and I've occasionally had a bit of that. I found the crocodile was really quite tasty, so
Yeah.
it's interesting. But yeah, just generally it's beef, lamb, eggs, and butter and water.
Yeah. So how many meals do you have a day?
Yeah, well, that usually depends. I have usually once per day, but if I've been doing more exercise, it'll be twice per day. Usually, between 11 and 11 o'clock in the morning and 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I'll have something to eat if I'm hungry. Otherwise, I'll generally sort of wait till 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon and have a big meal then.
Yeah. So
Mm.
you don't find you're hungry through the day?
No, not at all. No, I have those days which I have done maybe some exercise the day or a couple of days beforehand. I'm hungrier on those days, but I don't get that signal that says, "Oh, you must eat now," because I mean I've still got a fair bit of well, not a fair bit. I've still got a little bit of fat around my tummy. So I've always been tall and relatively skinny. So I've still got a little bit of tummy fat there, and yeah, I just don't get those extreme hunger signals, which I used to get, and yeah, so I'm very happy with my dietary intake these days.
And what's been the reaction of the people around you, friends, family, etc.?
Yeah, a bit of a mixed reaction, Larry. I think that my closer friends have gone, "Wow, that's amazing. You look great. You sound great. You're very talkative. Won't shut up about this stuff, of course." Um, I've not had any friends raise any particular concerns. Maybe oh, that's a lot of cholesterol type comment every now and again, but they don't know any better. Several of family and friends have gone on and done this, some successfully, some not. The ones that I think are going to be more successful do have health problems, a couple of them really serious health problems, unfortunately. And I've got my fingers crossed for them. But yeah, the general feedback that I've been getting is, "Oh, okay, that's good. I'm glad it's helping you." Yeah, I'm talking and teaching people about this stuff on a daily basis, whether that's through Facebook or directly.
Yeah, yeah. So, Shaun, do you see a day when you'll just go back to the standard Australian diet?
The sad diet. Yeah,
Yeah,
look, I don't think so, Larry. Yeah, I have dabbled, putting a few things in. I think with the idea that if I can find something that will improve my eyesight, that'd be a good thing. But I have not found anything that makes things better. Only things that make things worse, and that includes dairy. Dairy makes my eyesight blurry, and so I've definitely ruled dairy out. And there's a few other things. I think I'll be doing a video about that so I can lay them all on the table for others to learn from. I'll have to. This earphone keeps falling out. Yeah.
So, Shaun, if somebody's listening to this and they're thinking, this sounds really good, but where would I start? What advice would you give somebody that's interested in starting?
Certainly. Well, on my YouTube channel, before I started creating videos, I started creating playlists, and in the past 12 plus months, I've been spending for 12, 16 hours a day watching videos, and the ones that I think are valuable, I've been saving those videos to playlists. So I'd recommend people do the research. The research will help you understand what to do, how to do it, and the benefit of other people's experiences cannot be underestimated. So yes, definitely do the research, and make a date with destiny. Put that line in the sand. You've got to make that date and just decide, this is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to do it. It would be beneficial to have other people supporting you, especially if it's in the same household. And that might come down to removing foods which might from the cupboards, which you might be tempted with down the line. So yeah, just go into it. I started off with keto / low carb and transitioned into carnivore within a few weeks, really. And I had no distress with doing it that way, toileting distress or any other distress. It was very, very seamless for myself. And yeah, I think just be aware the first 2 to 3 weeks there will be the sugar addiction withdrawals. You might lose um, the water weight, which goes out with the glucose. So you might need to replace some electrolytes initially, especially. But I think, frankly, it's just way too easy. And if you are committed to doing something, within 2 to 3 weeks, you'll feel a lot better. And within, like for myself, within a few months, wow, this is the reason I'm doing it, because the pain's gone away. The indigestion, heartburn's gone away. The anxiety and depression's gone away. And my eyesight's getting better. What's going to happen to the next person? It could be something that you're just been brushing underneath the carpet for years and years, and now here we go, it's cured. That's something to look forward to.
Yeah, what an awesome story, Shaun. If you could sum up, if I asked you, what would be one thing, if you could sum up your whole message to people who are perhaps interested or perhaps have started, what would be one thing you'd want them to know?
One thing you would like them to know that's just started. Welcome to humanity version 2.0. The analogy of taking the red pill, I mean, I love the Matrix movies, that's great, but this is a different version of humanity. Not only do we have the benefit of access to fantastic food like our ancestors never had, we have access to everything else, all those supporting systems, to heat, to warmth, to shelter, to medicines. If you break an arm or whatever, you've got all those supports. And grass-fed beef, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It couldn't get any better than that. And my great 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 grandfather, going back 50,000 years ago, would be so jealous that we have this stuff, that I think they would have spent a lot more time doing cave paintings, a lot more time doing art, and a lot more time understanding that the future is going to be bright. Welcome to Humanity 2.0.
What an amazing story. We want to say a huge thank you to Shaun for coming on today and sharing your story. It's been a great inspiration to all of us. If you are part of our community and you would like an opportunity to come on and share your story and have a bit of a talk together, I would love to hear from you. So just reach out. My email address is in the notes below, and you can contact me and we can organise a time to film it. But thank you very much for watching today. I will see you on the next video, and until then, keep telling your story. Bye for now.